Hey everybody, welcome to Bish's RV. My name is Josh the RV Nerd, back down here at Grand Design today, getting my hands on one of their, I think it's the newest of their travel trailer toy haulers. And if I'm not mistaken, I do believe this actually might be the largest of their travel trailer toy haulers. Thing is, a lot of times when you think travel trailer, you think smaller vehicle as compared to a fifth wheel. But I don't really think that's what you're going to run into on a model like this. I think what you're looking at here is it's pretty much the same vehicle that you'd want for a, quote, smaller fifth wheel. You're in at least a 3/4 ton range. I don't know that you'd be upset having a 1-ton pickup for this. But what's cool about this is you don't have to sacrifice your truck's bed. You still get a, well, frankly, way taller ceilings in the majority area of like the bedroom and the bathroom that a fifth wheel wouldn't be able to offer. Still having the ability to have an onboard generator, still having the 3 Seasons patio wall, the big ramp patio system. But this model is built around the concept of giving you a separate garage and living space. Now, it does mean that neither of these are necessarily the biggest thing, but if you want super big mega living and garage, you're gonna be up into a big full momentum as compared to one of the smaller travel trailers, probably regardless, you know. But if you don't have a dually and you want separate living and separate garage spaces, this is where that kind of comes in. Now, this could be an absolutely excellent alternative bunkhouse arrangement because you have sleeping for frankly 2 to 4 adults in the back, plus your private bedroom up front that's a nice north-south walk-around bed with a mega closet going on up in there as well. But we have an 11-foot loading area in this that's not going to be made for your giant, well, my giant side-by-side won't fit. You're right, it won't. That's not what this is made for. There's definitely other RVs that could do that. This is made for somebody who maybe has like a golf cart or e-bikes or dog kennels or kayaks or something like that. Like, not everything is always about the biggest 4-seat RZR that is out there. Although, of course, they're crazy, stupid fun. I'm pretty sure that if you let me get a hold of one for too long, I'd end up upside down with it, but I'd have a smile on my face on the way. But in the meantime, we're going to go through this thing, show you what it does, what it doesn't do, and if it works for you, great. And if it doesn't, no sweat. We just want to give you the information so you could be in a position to make your best, most educated decision. If you appreciate that, hit that subscribe button. Let's go. And really a big thank you to the Grand Design team today. The weather's not exactly cooperating outdoors. They were kind enough to actually pull these into their lamination facility for us. Which is something I appreciate because it means that we actually get a chance to get you some decent footage today. Funny thing is about lamination plants, they're very temperature controlled there, and they're rather humid because they have a water activated glue, and it has to cure at the proper temperature and humidity. So it doesn't matter if it's wintertime or summertime, it's going to feel exactly the same in here every single day. Now, these are going to be able to be outfitted with a dual air conditioner, and one of the cool things about a travel trailer toy hauler, well, any toy hauler really, but especially travel trailers, is because the garage is extra tall, it makes the entire space extra tall, because nobody seems to do that classic thing where they build a normal living area and then it sweeps up at the back for the garage space like some things used to. And it's a tight space. And I gave you that quick little wide angle preview earlier, but that's, you know, kind of all I'm going to do in terms of wide angle lensing. So I'm going to have to really keep the camera moving around to help you get the whole picture here. Ventless, carpetless flooring, that's stuff Grand Design's done since day one. I don't know that they've ever done a lot of carpeted flooring in things. What kind of struck me as interesting, though, is the entertainment on this one. And I've seen a couple builders make a layout like this, and I just don't know that there's necessarily another way around it. The TV is all the way up there. But, like, where else would they put it? You know, like, we've got a microwave, we've got a refrigerator, you've got the kitchen across from you. Toy haulers have always kind of had funny TV locations until you get into those giganto mega fifth wheel kind of toy hauler things, and then things change. Now, if you glance at this, if you look next to that refrigerator, you see what looks like a wasted pocket. It's not. It's actually a little coat closet in the garage area of the RV. So they didn't waste it. They just repurposed it in a little bit different fashion. That is a TCL Roku Smart TV up top there, though. This is all... you got to kind of watch some RV manufacturers about this sometimes. This is hardwood cabinet door frames. It is a wood panel insert in the cabinetry. but some manufacturers will try to make you think like it's all hardwood cabinetry. That's not what this is. Oh, hello. Little Rockford Fosgate sound system over here. I don't believe this has like the super mega woofer kind of situation going on with it. Oh, it tells us right here. Oh, it does. Okay, so if you're an audiophile, this sound system will blow your eardrums out and you will be thankful for it. I had some Dream Theater cranked up in one of these one time when I was recording something, and dude, it thumped good. So, you know, whatever you're looking for, it gives you, I won't say a stadium level experience, but it's gonna sound pretty awesome, better than a lot of things. Yep, there you go. Under the overhead cabinets all the way back there in the kitchen, you do have some power outlets. I really like, though. Notice how nicely lit up it is here in the kitchen. They're doing an indirect light, basically built under the trim that we're looking at right here. That is really, really nice. And it's not like it costs a bunch more. They're doing the same thing like under the countertop line. Just some nice little touches there. I do think it's also very smart how they put the toe kicks down there in that cabinetry. So like if you're really gonna do some dishes, you can belly right up to the bar and not have to get lower back pain or anything like that. In case you're curious, those are thermofoil countertops. What I'm not sure is, are they sealed thermofoil or not? They do not appear to be fully sealed. So there you go. Even if I have to go out of my way to share something that isn't necessarily positive, hope you appreciate that I'll do it, you know? Now, some people don't love the campside slide over here because it does eat into your camp space. It eats into your awning a little bit. Like, that's real. But it also provides you really big window coverage in an otherwise fairly small living room. And you've probably guessed that, yes, those are pushback theater recliners. I do personally prefer the way they've done this folding armrest. That's my little nerd preferred way of this being accomplished, because it gives me a center console and some separation if you want it, but it also gives me extra cup holders and some handy power solutions if I need those. If you don't want to deal with that, though, if you want that folded up out of the way, it's easy to miss, but actually built right over here into the cup holder area, there's a little window that slides open. There is a USB Type A charging plug built onto both sides of the sofa. So both sides can actually two-fist it, and if you want a bigger fast charger, that's probably where that center armrest would come into play there. Working our way around the remainder of the storage, because they didn't use what I call kitchen dust collectors, where the cabinetry doesn't go all the way up to the ceiling line. They gave us some really respectable overhead cabinet space here. Like, here, let's do a little microwave tray test. So microwave trays, see if I can get this open. We're doing this all live on camera, Bill O'Reilly style. That's like a dinner plate size, right? Well, I mean, it helps kind of put it into perspective, doesn't it? There's some pretty solid storage going on up here. But what's also interesting, they did that above the refrigerator as well, because it's almost like a motorhome. You ever see the bedroom of a lot of motorhomes or the kitchens where they put a TV? They have a little swing up kind of television cabinet storage space right there. They did the same thing on this just to maximize every little nook and cranny they had. Oh, hello. This is why it's nice that I like to go through and flip everything up and down. I would say flip it off, but no. It's a countertop flush extension. My guess is that actually needs to fold so that the slide out doesn't smash it when it retracts. You probably have to fold that down for slide purposes. But there are some outlets down there. So when you get to your destination, you got some handy outlet access. And just little details like this, dedicated wastebasket spaces. Someone's doing their homework. That's smart execution. And this caught me off guard and had me a little bit confused for a second. When I came over here, I pulled these drawers open, and I noticed the bottom drawer only about half the depth of the top drawer. That's because there's some plumbing and wiring basically hiding back there. And I was expecting a big storage pocket here, but behind that is actually your docking center on the outside of the RV. So they made it an enclosed spice rack instead of wasting it. I love the fact that they just didn't waste anything on this. Now, you might have noticed a couple times here, there's been a light turning off and on. Right above the entry area, there is a motion-activated light. Now, depending on how you flick that switch, you can turn it off or on, or leave it on motion mode like I've done here. But I haven't done a lot of talking about the motion lights in my last couple videos. For traveling, your front bedroom and your bathroom will be readily accessible. I'm not sure what the kitchen's going to look like. We will we'll come back for road mode and check that all out later. First of all, the space around the toilet, I thought was going to be more fluffy friendly, but I found it to fight my elbow a little bit when I was attempting to employ the utilization of ye old butt napkins effectively. And I gotta say, with the absurd shower height that we have in here, as you can see on the left side of the screen, I don't know why we necessarily need a skylight. And if I had to venture a guess, I suspect that skylight is there because something like 94% of RVs are displayed to customers for sale at a dealership with no power to them. And without that skylight during the day, this bathroom would look really dark and dismal. So I'm guessing that skylight is there to help compensate for a lazy salesperson. That's actually, let's pro tip this. As we're looking at the bedroom, I'm gonna go off on a tangent. If you want to see what kind of salesperson you have working for you, when you're walking around, once you've especially selected the RV, if it's not powered up, ask them if they can just get the lights turned on so that you can really go through it and sit in it and see it for a minute. And if that's too much work for them, they're probably lazy and they probably don't care about anything but getting your money today. But if they're like, yeah, sure, no problem, that's the least I could do for you. If they're willing to power it up, that's probably a good sign of a positive customer service-based culture at that location. Not a guarantee, but it's a good sign. And my wife just called. She's like, hey, are you coming to our daughter's Taekwondo practice tonight? Since I'm out of town right now, I've got about an hour drive home. I realized I'm going to have to pick up the pace. I talk a lot in these videos and they run long. So there we go. Great dresser space. And with this full big closet slide, this has more closet storage in it than a lot of fifth wheels I've seen, frankly. This is pretty awesome. Now, here's another thing. They made this extra tall ceiling, but they basically used something very similar to like almost like Reflections bedroom storage arrangement, but because their ceiling is taller than Reflections, it created this big wide open space right here. And that got me thinking, which hurts, by the way, when I start doing that. But once the cogs started turning, I got to thinking, if you're kind of like a bookworm type and you like to shove a big body pillow behind you or something like that, this is extremely concussion friendly. Like, it's not going to cause you to sit up and clock your head. The downside here, though, is that you absolutely got to crawl all over this bed to get to the storage. And I'm tall with a long body, and even kneeling on the bed like I am, I still have a little bit of a hard time reaching back here. But I love the fact that they gave us the gravity-defying doors over here. It's defying gravity like the movie Wicked. And, sorry, I know I go off these squirrel tangents. I just realized, is the Wicked Witch of the East Elphaba's sister in the wheelchair? Oh my gosh, she is, isn't she? Sorry, there's exactly two types of people watching this video right now. There's the group going, what is this dude smoking? What is he talking about? Then there's the other musical theater group going, oh, yes, absolutely. Anyway, I like how that bed flips almost straight vertical. If you need to get down here into this cargo space, that is about as simple and easy as it gets. Oh, okay, interesting. So our TV hookups are located over on this wall because the wall across from the bathroom is either a sliding door. Well, it's two sliding doors. You can't really put a TV there unless you somehow finagled a weird bracket up top. I guess it wouldn't be impossible. A lot of people ask, why don't they do more ceiling mount TVs that flip down? Basically, because they don't want to mess with their roof structures. That's the real answer. And once again, available second air. Looks like a Coleman Mach air unit on these. We're going to work our way back to the garage. What I'm curious about real quick first, there's that motion. Yeah, when this slide closes, it's about to look like Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom. Although, I didn't even think about it. I figured when the slide closed, we were going to lose access to the kitchen. But thanks to the miracle of this giganto window, I think there actually might be a two-stage solution to this. Stand by. No, yeah, you totally might be able to do... Sorry, that sounds very confusing. Where I'm from, no yeah means yeah, and yeah no means no. I don't know why it means those things. I don't know why we do that where I'm from. I just know that we always have and always probably will, so it's just part of my vernacular. But yeah, if you need to, assuming you can open the garage door and get past what, a golf cart or whatever you got loaded, you can basically get to all of the kitchen. That's better than I thought it was going to be. It's not necessarily ideal for a lot of folks, but it's not terrible. Now, remember I mentioned next to the refrigerator, they didn't waste the space. This is what I was talking about right here. It's just a handy little kind of coat and gloves sort of closet corner. It's useful. It's not nothing. I kind of like having the ability to hang a jacket or something back here, or a dog leash. And you've got your little, pup cups down here. They fold down or fold up, by the way. If you want to get them totally out of the way, you can absolutely do that. Now, we are in I'm going to call it a full-size true toy hauler, not a crossover like a Grey Wolf or a J-Flight, quote, toy hauler. This is the extra wide, extra tall kind of variety. And that does mean that we have that drop-down power Happy Jack bed here. I'm trying to remember, I think you have somewhere between 79 to 92 inches of vertical clearance under this thing, depending on how you have these power sofas arranged, because they can ride down the road vertically against the sidewalls or horizontally directly under that overhead bed. I got to remember my orientation. Oh, I like this little detail. There's the metallic mechanicals off the end of the sofa, and they just put that little pad there in case you like walk into it or something. Just little details like that. Momentum has always been so good at those extra little details. I like the coin style flooring in here, that rubberized circular look on here. Now, every one of these tie downs is 2,500 pound rated, and they are actually anchored directly into the steel structure of the chassis and its cross members effectively. So everything is straight hard anchored into something. It's not just screwed into some wood paneling. Now, what's also kind of cool about this is right now I've got us in full on daytime mode. However, the sleeping capacity you get out of something like this is pretty phenomenal. Like, you can definitely sleep 2 adults down there. I don't have this power bed drop down, but should you choose to do that, you could definitely sleep another 2 adults up there. Give me a second and I will circle back to that. We're going to do this step-by-step New Kids on the Block style. Ooh, baby. Forget it. We'll do it right now. We'll just look at everything right now because, we're watching a video to see stuff, not to just hear some dad bod chunky butt dude talk about it. Real quick, in case you're wondering what these things are on the bed, those are what I call the puppy savers. So let me get the 3 Seasons door out of the way here, which is nice that this is, not a lot of travel trailer toy haulers have those. There's a big gap right there. Those little nets that I just pointed at, they help close that gap. You just got to make sure you take them off before you, what do I want to say? Close the ram door. Otherwise, I don't know, something's going to break, tear. And of course, we get it all out the way for the maximum loading capacity. This is what I was saying. You have 2 different potential maximum loading heights and widths, in a sense, depending on what you do with those little beds. So that's something you're going to want to kind of keep in mind. Oh, interesting. They actually ran some wiring through the laminated wall and provided some power outlets on both sides. Now, it's a surface mount receptacle because the wall's not thick enough to fully recess that. But it's actually kind of nice that they ran the power down there like that for you. A lot of brands just wouldn't. Now, it's not like they did it for free. You're paying for it, of course, but hey, it's that extra little detail that they put on here. And one of the nice things about this, again, is that they do have that full-on 3 Seasons patio sliding door wall. Let me give you a little quick preview of that closed up before we hop outside. Now, one of the things here, you might notice how it's darker on the bottom than the top. You can actually slide some stuff around so that you can have it in like screen airflow mode or full-on glass enclosed mode, kind of whichever one works best for you. So here's the trick with something like this. It's still pretty demanding when it comes to a tow vehicle. Like, the total maximum weight on this is about 13,000 pounds. Now, what that means in English, you have about 3,000 pounds, give or take, of available cargo capacity, especially once you look at one that has that generator optioned onto it. That's that light blue thing up in the front of the nose cap. We'll take a better look at that. But you got about 3,000 pounds of available capacity. So you're going to want to make sure that you can absolutely handle every bit of that. And especially if you have the optional generator, the hitch weight on this is going to be fairly substantial. You know, when you look at the base specs, it says the empty bone dry hitch weight of this is 1,500 pounds. Now, toy haulers are always notoriously a little hefty on the hitch, especially you go slapping the Jenny on the front of that sucker. By the way, do you know who played Forrest Gump in the movie Forrest Gump? A lot of you probably just said Tom Hanks, but the answer is Jenny. Jenny absolutely played that man. Oh, terrible joke. Moving on from there. This is interesting. Because they have a north-south bed, they had an opportunity, potentially, for a full front pass-through compartment. Instead, they buried the generator right into the middle of it. And that sounds like I'm being critical of it. I think it's just being more factual. What they did over here is this is kind of a generic cargo / electric hookup station. That's where your charge controller, your inverter, all that stuff would be located. The center portion of a pass-through compartment is potentially fairly difficult to get to. So they put the generator in the location that cargo is hardest to access. And when I think about it that way, I'm not sure it doesn't actually make a lot of sense. Now that's an NPS 6000 generator. Those things are, well, basically it's Yamaha plans, but it's fulfilled by this company called NPS. But last I knew, it literally came with Yamaha, like owner's manual and stuff like that. Yamaha just doesn't like it when you associate their name with them. But I don't work for Yamaha, so Yamaha. Too bad. You get the idea. The full nose cap looks really sharp on this, and I think it helps it kind of connect with the understanding this is a member of that fifth wheel momentum family. As I work my way around here, I'm kind of cluing into the fact that this has a huge awning, although a big chunk of that awning is occupied by that sofa slide out. That's one of the tricks of trying to get so many things crammed in, like having the separate living room and garage space. They had to put a slide in the living room to give you any sort of semblance of decent living area. Otherwise it'd be super, super tight in there and you'd probably hate it. But it also means that comes at the sacrifice of some of our awning area. Now that slide looks to be 2.5, 3 foot deep. These awnings stick out about 7.5 feet. So I don't know, you be the judge. Is that enough for you or not? You might notice too, they don't tend to put a lot of those newer fancy stable step things on this. They use the aluminum, almost like dock boat plank style steps that are very good if you have wet shoes. You don't tend to slip around a lot on them. The people wonder, like, why don't they use the newer steps? Well, basically the answer is because where these RVs momentums are used is off grid pretty frequently. And a lot of people, like, they'll say that unless they're on a concrete park pavement pad, those fold down stable steps are rather problematic. So they just avoided the problem here. Now, it's a big, heavy rig. And it's gonna, you know, it's gonna put some demands and it's gonna jerk the vehicle around a little bit. But one of the things that helps diminish that is the upgraded suspension package. That's that blue thing in the middle of those big Goodyear tires that we're looking at. And the red wheel hubs, that's telling us that this has both anti-lock braking and electronic anti-sway. So this is something that you will be more easily able to keep under safe control as compared to some other options that are out there. The underbelly is enclosed. It is forced air heated. These are 0 to 100 degree rated. Although keep in mind, the rear garage door, it doesn't quite keep up. The garage area doesn't have quite the ability to be protected from underneath as the rest of the RV because of the presence of the fuel station. Now, they do still have an insulated garage floor, which is nice, but it's not quite the same level as everything else. So if you're doing shoulder season, spring and fall camping, the garage might be a little cooler. Now, if you notice up top, we've got 2 pretty sizable solar panels up there. Momentum has always done 10 gauge wiring solar prep, meaning you can put some pretty hefty juice through this sucker. They have recently changed their solar packages around, and I do apologize. I don't personally know exactly what they're running into, but we are in the middle of the lamination plant currently, and they're trying to do some work, and I'm going to get out of the way before I get run over here. Thank you very kindly, sir, for everything you're doing for us today. What do we got running by us right here? All right, these look like, oh, these are motorized walls. That is something coming in off a Lineage Class B right there. You can see the little step up and the storage under the bed. It's silly that you can recognize that. And the one that just went by us is going to be painted eventually. That's why it's that gray color. So there we go. Now everybody is safe and sound and we're moving around. This was one of the first travel trailer brands that offered a full fifth wheel sized garage ramp patio. What that means is that this was one of the very first ones to ever offer the 3 Seasons patio wall back there, the doors and the screens and all that stuff. Normally, on a travel trailer toy hauler, that's just something that isn't going to be generally available. I do really appreciate, now a lot of RVs have this, but they really made sure they put the stabilizer jacks all the way at the back. Helps keep this thing sturdy and steady. And we have the side mount ladder right here. Some people like them, some people don't. I prefer a fixed ladder like this over a telescopic personally. Even though they're technically rated to hold less weight, it's enough for me. And it's just one less thing that I have to carry and store around. This is also a 30-gallon fuel cell, but it is shared between the toys and the generator. So keep that in mind. This does not have a dual fuel kind of situation going on for your toys. Like you can't have one tank with high octane and one tank with standard or something like that. They had to get a little creative where they put all their hookups, but they still managed to do a fully enclosed Nautilus style docking center here. Another thing that I really like is this is all plastic enclosed. So if one of these water fittings starts spritzing for some reason, it's just contained better. And I'm noticing as I back up here, this is a single consolidated sewer outlet situation. So you don't have to do what I call the poop scoot boogie, moving one hookup, or well, rather one hose between multiple hookups.
Phrasing.
So there you have it, everybody. Let me know what you think about her, good, bad, ugly, and in between. I've tried to be as fair as I could about it. Let me know what you think. Where did they nail it? Where did they fail it? What would you change given the opportunity, and what should they never mess with? Short of that, I'll leave you some links in the video description like I tend to do, where if you want to see where we have one of these parked and to get a rough idea of what one of these things might be running, if we have one in stock, it will be listed right on our site. Although usually with Grand Design, I don't think we're able to publish our actual discounted sale price. They have a pricing policy, and our sale pricing tends to fall below that. So basically, we probably have a lower price tag available than what you see on our website. It's annoying. I don't like it, but just to let you know. Anyway, when you're ready, we're ready. And until next time, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.